Today is Sunday, 2nd February 2025. February 2nd is celebrated as World Wetland Day. This day commemorates the adoption of the Convention on the Wetland in Ramsar, Iran on February 2nd, 1971. It is celebrated because to highlight the positive role wetlands play in the world, to raise the awareness of the importance of a wetland for people and the planet, to bring the big communities together to celebrate their love for nature. What happens on the World Wetland Day is actually the community protectors and environmental enthusiasts celebrate their love for nature. Theoretical sessions are held to educate people on the importance of wetlands and their conservation. Role-playing activities are held to highlight the interconnectedness of ecosystem and components. 2nd February also from the Indian history point of view holds a significant place in the annal of Indian history, marking the establishment of one of the world's oldest museums, the Calcutta Museum, on this day in 1814. Additionally, the Press Trust of India (PTI), a major news agency in the country, was founded on the same date in 1949. Now, starting the news with the world news, including Elon Musk's doggy team granted full access to United States government payment system report. Senior FBI officials resist Trump administration's orders to fire agents. Trump imposes new tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China or pentennial immigration. Trump says Venezuela agrees to receive illegal immigrants captured in United States. Yang Tangbo, who is a legal Chinese spy linked to the Prince Andrew. Democrats elected Minnesota's Ken Martin as their new leader. Now, starting with the Hindu newspaper, Trump signs executive order to impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. United States President Donald Trump looks on as he signs an executive order in the Oval Office of the White House in the Washington, D.C. The U.S. President says that the tariffs are to force the countries to do more to stop the flow of the fentanyl into the United States, but also dovetail with his embrace of the protectionist measures to boost domestic manufacturing and as a potential source of the revenue for federal government. United States President Donald Trump on Saturday, February 1st, 2025, signed on an order to impose stiff tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China, fulfilling one of these post-campaign commitments to voters that threatened to spark higher inflation and disrupt businesses across the North America as the countries vowed harsh measures in response. Mexico's president immediately ordered retaliatory tariffs, and Canada's prime minister said it was prepared to quickly respond. Trump's order includes a mechanism to escalate the rates if the countries retaliate against the United States. Arab nations rejected Trump's suggestion to relocate Palestinians from the Gaza to Egypt and Jordan. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The Arab statement warned that such plans threaten the region's stability, risks expanding the conflict, and undermine the prospects for the peace and coexistence among its people. Powerful Arab nations on Saturday, February 1st, 2025, rejected United States President Donald Trump's suggestion to relocate Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring Egypt and Jordan. Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, the Palestinian Authority, and the Arab League released a joint statement rejecting any plans to move the Palestinians out of their territories in the Gaza and occupy the West Bank. Mr. Trump floated the idea last month, saying he would urge the leaders of the Jordan and the Egypt to take in Gaza's now largely homeless population so that we just clean out that whole thing. He added that the resetting most of the Gaza's population of the 2.3 million could be temporary or long-term. Some Israeli officials had raised the transfer idea of early in the war. Now, going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper, states that India, United States working on the early visit of the Prime Minister to the Washington. Prime Minister and Mr. Narendra Modi and the United States President Donald Trump. New Delhi, India is working with the United States for an early visit to Washington by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deepen the bilateral comprehensive global strategic partnership, the External Affairs Minister said on Friday. It moves to scale in an encounter with the security forces in the Chhattisgarh's Bijapur. The gunfight erupted around 8:30 a.m. in the forest of the Ganglore police station area within a joint team of security personnel was conducting an anti-Naxalite operation. Raipur. 8 Muslims were killed in an encounter with the security forces in the Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district on Saturday, police said, adding that automatic rifles, including INSAS rifles and barrel grenade launcher (BGL) launchers, were recovered from the spot. The bodies of the deceased Muslims are yet to be identified, and the process of the identification will start soon. The bodies will be brought to the district headquarters late Saturday night, and after the identification will be done, said a senior police officer. The gunfight erupted around 8:30 a.m. in the forest Ganglur police station area when a joint team of the security personnel was conducting an anti-Naxalite operation, police added. On the January 20, security forces gunned down 16 Muslims in the jungle bordering Odisha. A central committee member of the panel, CPI Muslims, and other senior Muslims were killed in the encounter. On January 16, 12 Muslims were killed in an encounter with the security personnel in the Bijapur district. Later, Muslims in the statement said that 18 cadres were killed in the January 16 gunfight. Last year, 19 Muslims were neutralized by security forces in separate encounters in the state. Zakia Jafri survived and the advocate for justice in 2002. Gujarat riots passes away. Zakia Jafri was 86, died on Saturday at her daughter's home in Ahmedabad. Zakia Jafri, a survivor of the 2002 Gujarat riots and the wife of former Congress lawmaker Ehsan Jafri, who was killed in the violence, died on the Saturday at her daughter's home in the Ahmedabad. She was 86. Zakia Jafri survived the massacre but hit the national headlines as she waged a legal battle all the way out to the Supreme Court in a bid to hold up top political leaders accountable for the large conspiracy for the riots post Godhra train burning episode. Despite facing legal setbacks, Zakia Jafri continued her pursuit of justice, ensuring that the events of 2002 were not forgotten. She spoke about it on several occasions, raising questions about the state's response to the violence and seeking answers for the victims. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the budget point of view, Union Budget Job Guarantee Scheme outlay flat at Rs 86,000 crore, rural housing yet Rs 54,000 crore, little over financial year 2025. The Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin PMAG, which saw a drastic cut at the revised estimates stage, has also been allocated almost the same amount as the last year. This year, the allocation of MGNREGA is lower as compared to the actual expenditure of Rs 89,153 crore during the financial year 2023-2024. Union Budget 2025 new urea plant to come up in Assam. If this proposal in the latest Union Budget fructifies into the investment, it would be the 8th new urea plant to come up in India since 2019. The government has targeted near the Atmanirbhar Bharat self-reliance in urea, which is India's most widely consumed fertilizer. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Saturday announced the setting up of the new urea plant with an annual production capacity of 12.7 lakh tons at Namrup in Assam. Union Budget 2025 Gramin credit score to serve credit needs of self-help groups. The announcement is significant in a view of property cards being distributed under the center's Swamitva scheme, which are expected to spur credit demand in rural areas. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman Saturday announced Gramin credit score, a framework to be developed by the public sector banks for the credit needs of his member of self-help groups, SHGs, and people in the rural areas. Gramin credit scores or credit needs of self-help groups. Now, going towards science and tech, we have Union Budget 2025 reactor plan to enrich it with the funds. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced 20,000 crore nuclear energy mission to develop indigenous small modular reactors. 20,000 crore is actually in the rupees. Union Budget proposes that 5 of them will be ready by 2033, but no financial commitment made towards the building the Atomic Energy Department to spend rupees 24,049 crore in 2025-26 amendments to Atomic Energy Act, Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act, says Sitharaman. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced rupees 20,000 crore nuclear energy mission to develop indigenous small modular reactors (SMR). The budget proposes that at least 5 of these reactors will be operationalized by 2033. However, a perusal of the budget document suggests no financial commitments towards these this year. Himalayan tsunami not cloudburst behind 2023 Sikkim Gulf disaster study. A view of the study work in the Sikkim. The paper by 34 scientists, members of the NGOs, and other stakeholders concluded that event eroded 270 million cubic meters of sediments that overwhelmed the infrastructure Guwahati. A Himalayan tsunami generated by the collapse of the huge mass of rock, ice, and sediments into the glacial lake triggered at the 2023 Sikkim flood that killed 55 people and destroyed 1200 megawatt hydropower dam on the Teesta River, a new study has revealed. What caused the flood in Sikkim is actually the study of 34 scientists, members of the NGOs, and other stakeholders from 9 countries published in the latest edition of the Science Journal did not rule out the possibility of the repeat disasters, but said there was no evidence that the cloudburst triggered the glacial lake outburst to flood Gulf. The Sikkim government attributed the Gulf of cloudburst in the report to the National Green Tribunal in 2024. The study's lead author is Ashim Sattar, assistant professor at the School of the Earth, Ocean and the Climate Sciences of the Indian Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Contributions included Praful Rao of the Kalimpong-based Save the Hills and Prabhakar Rai of the Sikkim State Disaster Management Authority. The study underlining the susceptibility of the SLL to more Gulf's attained significance as an environmental ministry panel cleared the proposal to build a 118.64 meter high concrete gravity dam in the place where the 60 meter high 1200 megawatt Teesta third dam stood. Although 55 people were confirmed dead, 74 others, including the armed forces personnel, were reported missing after the flood. The study also noted that the event damaged 25,999 buildings and 31 major bridges, impacted 4 dams directly and inundated 276 square kilometers of agricultural land, apart from the triggering 45 landslides. Obesity rare in the rural children despite genetic susceptibility study. Prevalence of the underweight children was more rural schools, while obese children were from urban schools. A genetic study of childhood obesity is in about 6,400 school-going children aged 9 to 18 years has found that socioeconomic status significantly modulates the inherent genetic susceptibility to obesity. Unlike in the case of the adult obesity, genetic studies to understand the obesity in the children and adolescents are limited, particularly in the non-Caucasian populations. Besides identifying the genetic variants associated with the childhood obesity in the Indian population, a study undertaken by the clutch of Indian institutions led by research from the School of Biotechnology in JNU Delhi has studied how socioeconomic status modifies the genetic susceptibility to obesity. The study has been accepted for publication in the journal Obesity. Now, at last, there's a famous scientist of India, is actually C.V. Raman, whose full name is Sir Chandrasekhar Venkata Raman. Birth anniversary 7 November 1888 up to 21st of November 1970. Known as simply as C.V. Raman, was an Indian physicist known for his work in the field of light scattering using a spectrograph that he developed. He and his student K.S. Krishnan discovered that when light traverses transparent material, the deflected light changes its wavelength. This phenomenon, due to unknown type of scattering of light, which they call modified scattering, was subsequently termed the Raman effect or Raman scattering. In 1930, Raman received the Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery and was the first Asian and the first non-white to receive the Nobel Prize in any branch of science. In 1970, he was appointed as the first College Professor of Physics and Ashutosh Mukherjee at the Raj Bazar Science College under the University of Calcutta. On his first trip to Europe, seeing Mediterranean Sea motivated him to identify prevailing explanation for the blue color of the sea at the time, namely the reflected rayleigh scattering light from the sky, as being incorrect. He founded at the Indian Journal of the Physics in 1926. He moved to Bengaluru in 1933 to become the first Indian director of the Indian Institute of Science. He founded the Indian Academy of Sciences the same year He established the Raman Research Institute in 1948, where he worked at his last days. Raman effect was discovered on 28 February 1928. The day is celebrated annually by the Government of India as the National Science Day. C.V. Raman says a very famous quotation. He says that I strongly believe that fundamental science cannot be driven by the instructional, industrial, and government or military pressures. Okay, thank you.